Coming up on AC 24/7, removed from her position. We'll have reaction to a move Republicans say is linked to anti-Semitic remarks. Plus, what we're learning about a meeting between members of the Congressional Black Caucus and the White House. And how schools are responding to a nationwide teacher shortage and the impact in the classroom. Hey there, welcome to another edition of AC 24/7. I'm Lamar Baldwin. House Republicans have removed Minnesota Democrat Ilham Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, citing anti-Semitic remarks she's made in the past. Omar, a black woman and Muslim, said she was targeted because of her race and religion. The Advocate Channel's Lauren Fox has more.
My leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term.
Representative Ilham Omar speaking out before the House passed a resolution along party lines removing her from the Foreign Affairs Committee.
The resolution is adopted.
Omar is one of the first elected Muslim members of Congress and was a refugee from Somalia.
Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted?
In 2019, Omar received widespread condemnation from both parties after suggesting Republican support of Israel is fueled by donations from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, a pro-Israel group.
She has brought dishonor to the House of Representatives.
This vote to remove Omar was long promised by the newly elected House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
We're not removing her from other committees, but I think in moving forward, every single member of Congress has a responsibility to how they carry themselves.
Democrats are now crying foul, accusing Republicans of targeting Omar in retaliation for when the Democratic-controlled House voted to remove Republicans Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar from their committee assignments in response to their violent rhetoric and social media posts. Both Greene and Gosar have received key committee assignments since Republicans took back control of the House.
And this type of poisonous, toxic, double standard is going to complicate the relationship moving forward between House Democrats and House Republicans.
The House Minority Leader is now vowing to place Omar on the Budget Committee. The resolution to block Omar has left even some Republicans who voted for it wary.
If we go down this road and we start kicking people off for X, Y, or Z, where does it stop?
McCarthy also removed Democratic Representatives Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell from the Intelligence Committee last week.
In the case of all three of these expulsions, there is either political revenge or there is the absolute agenda of racist, misogynist, and xenophobic targeting.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defending Omar and calling out Republicans for not voting to expel Gosar from his committee assignments after he posted an anime video appearing to depict him killing the New York Congresswoman.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
The White House and Congressional Black Caucus now have an agreement on how to address the issue of policing in America. President Biden and Vice President Harris met with the group of black lawmakers Thursday following the killing of Tyree Nichols. They didn't disclose the details of the agreement, but they say a legislative package could be coming soon. The Black Caucus says focus will be on public safety.
I think I speak for a whole lot of Americans when we say that we're sick and tired of human beings being turned into hashtags. This has got to stop. Every parent who sends their young adult child off to drive shouldn't have to worry if they're going to come back home safely. We all want our children to return home.
Bipartisan efforts in Congress to reach an agreement on police reform stalled more than a year ago. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has expressed openness to discussing the issue. The DOJ plans to fight a court ruling calling a federal gun control law unconstitutional. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against a law that kept people with domestic violence restraining orders from possessing a firearm. The appeals court found the law cannot stand under the Bruin test, which requires gun laws to be comparative to firearm regulations in place at the time of the Constitution's framing. The department is planning to file an appeal which may go to the Supreme Court. A nationwide teacher shortage is leaving thousands of students without educators in grades K through 12. The shortage is so critical, some schools have been forced to cancel classes. The Advocate Channel's Renee Marsh reports.
It's Lala Bivens' first day at a new school. The 10th graders started fall classes at One City Preparatory Academy, a new charter school in Madison, Wisconsin. But on January 13th, the school says a teacher
Democrats are reintroducing a legislation called the Black History is American History Act.
Teachers were just dropping like
It would mandate that Black history be taught in Department of Education programs that offer workshops for teachers,
the school lost 5 core academic teachers since the beginning of the school year.
The bill awaits consideration in the House Education and Labor Committee. In the statement, Beatty said Black history is crucial to understanding the complexity of our nation's past, present, and future.
Scrambled to find new schools mid-semester.
Every year on February 2nd, we celebrate Groundhog's Day. But unlike the movie in the 90s, we don't have to repeat that day over and over. Still, Groundhog's Day is a term some use to describe that feeling when you were living the same day over and over again.
Scenario of a national teacher shortage gone unchecked. Department of Education data shows 47 states have reported teacher shortages this school year, with the problem most acute in urban and rural areas. Meanwhile, some state legislatures are passing laws making it easier to become a public school teacher.
Raise your hand.
The National Council on Teacher Quality says from January 2021 to January 2023, 23 states have lowered teacher qualification requirements, from lowering or removing assessment tests that determine whether teachers grasp the subject they will teach, to creating emergency teacher certificates to expedite candidates without a teaching degree in classrooms. Arizona, Florida, and Oklahoma have created new pathways for people without a bachelor's degree to teach in classrooms.
When states respond to shortages by reducing standards rather than by increasing salaries and improving working conditions, what they're doing is creating a vicious cycle. So they get people in who are underprepared. Those people leave at 2 to 3 times the rate of those who've come in with preparation.
Back in Madison, Wisconsin, Superintendent Carlton Jenkins' school district will absorb most students transferring from One City charter school, despite his district dealing with its own teacher shortage.
I know our staff is amazing. They do magical type work. It's still a challenge, and eventually it brings stress on the staff.
And the incoming students may already be behind.
When I didn't have enough teachers in my classes, it was very hard because we didn't really learn anything.
And they had so many great opportunities, and to hear that that was no longer being afforded to her, it broke my heart and brought me to tears.
Teachers are leaving for many reasons, including low pay, post-pandemic learning loss, and social and emotional issues with students. Educators are also facing cultural wars over what they can and can't teach in the classroom. The Advocate Channel is celebrating Black History Month, and today we want to spotlight author, radical feminist, and civil rights advocate Audre Lorde. Lorde was known for using her creative talents to highlight and confront the injustices of sexism, classism, racism, and homophobia. Born in New York City, Lorde would describe herself as Black, lesbian, mother, warrior, and poet. The daughter of Caribbean immigrants, her life was dedicated to activism. Lorde wrote over 30 books in her lifetime and is behind the only primary care center in New York City created specifically to serve the LGBTQ community, the Callin Lorde Community Health Center. Thank you for joining us for another edition of AC 24/7. For more content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Lamar Baldwin.